Subnautica is clearly one of the best survival games ever made, and Subnautica 2 is almost here, but where did it all start? In this video, I'm gonna tell you the story of Subnautica's development, from the first idea to the final release. In 2013, Unknown Worlds announced that they are working on an underwater exploration and construction game. After finishing Natural Selection 2, Charlie Cleveland, co-founder of the studio, and his team wanted to create something more peaceful, something without guns and combat. They wanted to focus on atmosphere, immersion and player-driven discovery. They wanted to make something that people will remember. This was a huge shift from their previous projects and a bit of a risk, but they handled it really well. The team originally considered making a space game, but they quickly realized the market was already full of them, so they decided to go with an underwater concept. The first prototypes were really basic, a diving experience focusing on the ambience and underwater exploration. The story, creatures and most of the gameplay mechanics weren't even a thing back then. Just the feeling of being in the ocean. The team was planning to make the world randomly generated, but they couldn't do that before the first public demo at PAX East, so they made the map handcrafted and it worked really well, so they decided to stay with it. While the procedural generation would have added better replayability, the handcrafted approach allowed for more memorable locations and better environmental storytelling. In 2014, the first public version of Subnautica was shown at PAX East. This demo was very different from the final game. It was a really early version, it had 5 to 10 minutes of content and it was really quest oriented. The main goal of that demo was to test whether players like exploration without combat or not. And the answer was yes. Later that year, on the 16th of December, Subnautica was officially launched in early access. At that point, the game had only 4 to 5 hours of content and a relatively small, handcrafted world. Unknown Worlds' early access structure was amazing and really smart, because they were developing the game together with the community. For example, the Aurora was just a billboard in the early versions, but players kept going there, so the devs had to make a 3D model for it. After adding the 3D structure, players wanted to go inside, so they had to design the interior of the spaceship as well. The developers were avoiding traditional combat systems, they were focusing on creatures, nature, the wildlife and the environment. But since there was no fighting in the game, they had to make something instead, like big leviathans with different attacks, leviathans that you can scan, but if you want to scan it you have to dodge its attacks. They added the explosion of the Aurora as well. They added all of this to replace the combat with fear. And the game is still full of action. Players later wanted some tools that they could defend themselves with, so the developers added the stasis rifle. The game was in early access for 3 years. They were releasing updates pretty frequently, update after update. In Dev Update 8 they added the Terraformer, an experimental tool that was cut from the game later. They updated the main menu and added game saving. A current generator was also added, but it was removed as well. In February 2015, they introduced the Cyclops submarine. In March, one of Subnautica's most essential features, base building, was introduced. In April, they introduced the crash site and made the Aurora explorable with a radiation suit. In June, the Altera Science update was released. They added the propulsion cannon and the modification station, which was originally called the Workbench. In the Habitat update, the moon pool, the multi-purpose room, the observatory, vertical connectors, the aquarium and the power system was added to the game, along with some other features. In September, the vehicle upgrade console, vertex torpedoes and the sonar system were brought into the game in the Seamoth update. In January 2016, the game received a huge graphical upgrade, and the scanner and the PDI database were also put into the game. The crash sequence was added in March. The prawn suit was introduced in August. The Sea Dragon Leviathan was added in September in the Dangerous Creatures update. The Lost River was added in October in the Bones update. In January 2017, the Lava Castle, Precursor Base and Coffee were added. In March, the Kara Infection and the Disease Research Facility was brought into the game. In April, the different systems of the Cyclops like Silent Run and the Shield were added. In June, the new PDA interface, the Containment Facility and the Sea Emperor were added. In August, the Ghost Leviathan and the Cure for Kara was introduced. In December, the game received another graphical update. On January 23, 2018, the game was officially out of early access and the ending was released. It was an insane journey, and the final product was just as good as the path leading to it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button and subscribe. See you in the next one.